Okay, welcome everyone to the Helm developer call, first one of the new year. The date is January 3rd, 2019. Just so everyone knows, if this is your first stand-up, we generally go through announcements, then we have the core maintainers give their stand-up, and then anyone in the community who's working on a feature that they'd like to give a stand-up on, and then we'll have any discussion items we have, and then give out assignments at the end. So I don't think there are any announcements today. Are there any that did not make it onto the notes that we should talk about?
I guess the only thing that we can really talk about is the Helm 3 repo stuff and just giving a mini update on that. Yesterday, there was some discussions going on. Sorry, Josh, do you want to?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. There was some updates on a new project. It was called Auras. I'll put a link in the description, in the chat afterwards. But it was a proof of concept of pushing arbitrary data up to a Docker distribution registry. And now the conversation has been going to just kind of to the vendors and to the open containers mailing list on whitelisting, data types, and a whole bunch of other things going on to how to move Helm 3 repositories into repositories moving forward. So that's it.
Okay, awesome. The Helm 3 thing did remind, we generally do also look at the Helm 3 project board until we complete Helm 3. So we'll be doing that in just a second too. First off, I'll just kick off stand-up. Obviously, I didn't do much over the holidays. This next week will probably be a little bit busy for me doing stuff, but I might try to pick up any PRs or issues that I see happening, and then see if I can fix those. So that'll be my plan for this week. I'll pass it on to Michelle.
Yeah, I've been doing some triaging over the last few weeks here and there, although I took a few days off. So I'm definitely I still have like 8 issues to triage. So I'm happy to continue triaging. I think we switched today, but I think having 2 triagers is good. And this might also be a good time to pair with like people who are interested in triaging, since we have so many. So if someone wants to pair, let me know. And if someone just wants an issue to triage, let me know. I can maybe hand you something if you want to do that, and then be available if you want some help. So that's open to anyone. The only item that came about was, by the way, triaging has been oddly relaxing, which is probably a result of doing those release candidates. So good job, everyone. The only thing that came out was there was someone who had a suggestion, about how to organize release notes. So I can talk about that in the discussion section later. Brian Hardock, do you want to
go? Sure. Yeah, over the holidays, wasn't doing much other than some reading and research. Yesterday I've been focused on implementing coroutines for the Lua VM. Before the holidays, I was working on the compiler for Lua. So I'm kind of bridging that gap between the front end and the back end of the Lua implementation. The compiler work is to eliminate the dependency on the Lua C binary. And then the coroutine work is to make the current API easier to use, or make it more idiomatic to go. That's basically what I'm going to be focusing on in the next few weeks. Stability and getting the API ready for Helm 3 to be built on it, more so than it already is. That's me. I'll pass it off to Fisher. Do you want to go?
Sure. So like everyone else here, just kind of been relaxing and settling down for the holidays. I have been doing some exploratory work, just playing around with Rust. So it's been a fun kind of like exploratory time to learn a new programming language. But this week, I've been settling down, kind of getting back from the holidays. Yeah, I don't really have too much to report on the Helm side from the last couple of weeks. I mean, since KubeCon, it's been kind of like relaxing for me. So Michelle, I would love to help out with the triaging stuff if you want some help on there. Otherwise, yeah, that is going to be for the majority of my week today. Go, Josh.
Hey, so I, over the break, helped with the Oros project. I can go more into discussion, but basically we have it's a shared library that we can use in Helm or in Duffel or anywhere else, or it's the basis for a shared library where we can push and pull from container registry. But I'll talk more in discussion after the topic. Who are we? Is that all?
I think that's everyone from the core maintainers.
Okay.
Okay, anyone from the community working on any features or things they'd like to give a stand up on? Okay. Oh wait, looks like somebody just popped in. Somebody want to give their stand up? Okay. Let's go ahead and go to the Helm 3 status. Adam is not here.
I think I want to pronounce this correctly. Nasimala is trying to speak, but maybe you muted.
Yeah, we can't hear you if you are.
Okay, so your microphone is unmuted on Zoom, but we can't hear any audio coming from it. So
If you can take a few seconds to fix that, just like ping us in chat, and then we can come back to you.
Okay, let's see. Anyone can speak to the Helm v3 status board? Brian, maybe? Question mark.
It's probably in the same place it was before the holidays.
Okay, that's what I thought. Just making sure. Like most of us, it took a break. Okay, then we'll move on. Discussion items we have on here. One is organizing and sorting release notes. It's linked to issue 5119 in the repo. I will paste the link for people in the chat. Who put that on there and would like to talk to it?
Yeah, somebody just somebody said that it was hard to figure out what things happen in a release. We just like dumped the list of commits. And I think before we used to do like a features section and like a fixes section and maybe a housekeeping section or something else, or doc section. So they just wanted us to organize the release notes in that format rather than dumping the commits. And I think we do that on other, at least I know we do that on the draft project. I think Fisher, that's like a habit that I picked up from you actually. So I don't know why we don't do that anymore. And if we do want to do it, like, does anybody have any thoughts? It's such a small thing.
Is that automated?
no, it's all manual. So there's one thing, which is the commit history, which we put on the bottom of the change log, and that's generated. And that's generated by time series. So the older commits obviously are at the bottom, the newer commits are at the top. But I'm assuming this is like getting a high level feature list of what's in the next release, right?
Yeah, when you have a release, they just want to be able to tell what features were added, what big bugs were fixed in a clear way.
Did we do that to the V2.12.0 or did we skip that out on that release?
I don't think so.
Okay. Because generally, we've done it in the past where we do a high-level feature list for the minor releases, not necessarily for the patch releases, unless it's like a significant patch or something. Then most of the time, I think it's just the commit change log is usually sufficient enough to say.
I think the past two have been both 2.11 and 2.12. We didn't like pull out we didn't call it major features. A lot of them were more stability things anyway. But we should just probably be more careful with it. I mean, I like this idea. I think we should probably just add it into that release checklist about categorizing things, because you can get out the commit messages and then recategorize them based on what they are.
Yeah, I agree.
Cool. That was easy enough. Let's just try it and see how it goes. And if anybody has any questions, we can figure it out.
I can add that in and PR something into the release checklist.
Okay.
Yes,
Today.
please. That would actually be great to put it into the release checklist, so then we don't miss it for the next time.
Yeah, I'll pull it in and do that. It should just take a few minutes.
Okay, Taylor, can you follow up on that issue too, and just close it out after you've done
Yeah,
it?
I'll go drop a note in there right now after we actually get to the next topic, since I am directing this meeting apparently. Okay, let's see. Nassim, you're hopefully that is your name, since you haven't been able to tell us with your voice. The feedback on that PR, we need to pull in somebody from Fisher said, we need to pull somebody in from the charts maintainers to give some full feedback on that. And so, yeah, it looks like you said you asked in the charts channel. If you don't get any traction on that, please let us know and we'll ping some people and get them in, because it looks like some good changes. I just want to make sure it matches up with what the chart maintainers look for. So anyone else have anything on that?
Yeah, no, that was the thing that I was wanting to say, was that basically anything that has been touching Helm Create, as in the first time starting out with a brand new chart, we've asked for feedback from the charts maintainers team, because they're the best. They know like what is best practice for a lot of these different things. And so we just like to get a second touch from them to make sure that it's compliant with what they would think is best practices. So, yeah.
Yeah, we do have one issue to try to track the best practices as patterns. And that's never really been fully finalized, but it's a lot closer than it was. It would be nice to bring that in. Nassim, maybe we can follow up on that separately. Sidebar that if you want.
Okay. Next item up is Helm repo updates. I'm not sure what that one is about. Is that?
That's me. That's me. I won't take too long. We are having a call on this every Wednesday at 8:30. So if you let me know if that time's too early for West Coast people. But if you want more information, that's where we're doing it. But I'm going to try and get more to the mailing list, the Helm mailing list as well. Basically, at this point, we're working with Open Containers people directly to get their feedback on what's the best way to do these things. And one of the things is, if you check out that Oras library, if you spin up Docker distribution, you can actually push any file now with any content type. But the problem with that is that, for example, like Docker Hub, well, I don't think Docker Hub actually supports it right now, but some other registry, let's say Quay, you can't just like upload a Helm chart because they don't have like a UI, like when you would go to it to kind of support this type of thing, or they want to basically, make their database very efficient, and they can't just have random types. So we're trying to figure out how to support that. And then the other thing that Steve Lasker, who's the ACR, one of the ACR leads, Azure Container leads, is trying to figure out is the search aspect, like trying to standardize on search. So when you do Helm search right now, the way it works is it uses the client-side index and all this stuff. And we basically, if you want to use a container registry to store your images and your charts, you don't want to search against Docker images, right? You just want to know what charts. So we're trying to figure that out as well, and he's leading the discussion on that. There's I'll put all this in the notes, but there is a Open Containers Freenode channel that me and Farina and Steve Lasker have joined, and that's where all this conversation goes on. So if you are interested in that, But also, I know some of you on the call are working with CNAB. If you want to spin the wheels on the ORAS library, that would be very helpful as well. So,
Yeah, I actually had one question on the ORAS library. So I noticed it takes a dependency on container D. Does it take a dependency on the binary, as in you need to have container D installed, or is it just the client libraries?
No, it's just vendored in for the client libraries. It's based on a gist that CPU guy 83 put up, where you don't need to run container D daemon. It just works direct.
Oh, nice.
So it basically uses container D as like the open source client for pushing and pulling, but it doesn't require daemon.
Awesome.
Yeah. So there's a CLI. So Shiwei, who's from Microsoft, he basically started it off as a CLI, but I think for our purposes, it should be more a Go package, right? So I've been focusing on that end of stuff.
Yeah, that would definitely be, I mean, there's been kind of like a move in Helm as well, where people have been interested in an SDK for using Helm and consuming it for Helm 3. I mean, if there's an SDK for RS, then it would be incredibly helpful for both CNAB, Helm, and for any other projects who want to actually upload custom media types to a distribution. So, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, and we're also working with those people to potentially move the repo if they think it's like the right way to go forward, which we talked to them yesterday and they seem to like it, to move it under Open Containers org or Container D. I would prefer Open Containers, but Container D, just so it kind of has a more like official supported feel to vendor into Helm. So, but yeah, I won't take up any more time. If you have any more questions about it, you can ping me, or you should join the IRC channel, which I'm starting to really enjoy over Slack actually. So,
what is the is it Open Containers? That's the IRC channel on Freenode?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they actually, I wanted to bring this up. They do a really interesting thing with their calls. They have a bot that sits in the room when they start their dev call, and it like, I don't know if it does like voice to text or something, but like the notes for the meeting are like generated. It's pretty awesome. Like right when the call ended, we all got an email like, these are the notes. So I don't know, something to take away there.
What are they using?
Some combination of IRC and it's not Zoom. It's I'll get you the information, but it's pretty cool.
Super cool. Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I got. And I also have a I have this working with Helm 3 branch, by the way. So like vendoring in the ORAS. So I'm gonna potentially do a PR against that branch soon. I am done.
Sounds awesome.
Awesome. Thanks, Josh. Oh, good old IRC. Yeah, be afraid. That's what I was going to say. Thanks, sister. IRC is always fun. Okay, I think that's it for discussion. Was there anything else that people wanted to bring up as a discussion point? Okay, then let's go ahead and go to assignments. Is there anyone who would like to be the issue Sherpa for this week? I think we're still trying to shoot for 2, right, Michelle?
Yeah, I'll be the secondary one.
Okay.
Or whatever, or equal.
It'll be good for me to get back into Helm a little bit after the holiday season, so I'd also like to be a Sherpa this week.
Sherpa together.
Okay, who'd like to take notes in the meeting next week? Check
I don't-
my calendar to make sure I can. I think I can do it. And who'd like to moderate?
I can moderate.
Okay. And I think that is it. Thank you all for participating, and we will go ahead and meet again next week like normal. If there's any questions or things that we may have missed, just let us know, and we'll try to bring it up next meeting. Thanks, everybody.